Hi, everybody. It's Captain Canadad. Hope you're having a great day. It's beautiful and sunny out here in southern Ontario. It's freezing cold, however. It's -9 right now, and I've just been out in it. However, what we do have with us today, shouldn't say what, sorry, who we have with us today is none other than Tara Jamieson. Tara, say hi to everybody.
Hi, nice to meet everyone.
There you go. Tara is a very special person. She's super talented from what I've seen of her YouTube channel. Um, Tara, give us a little bit of an introduction as to why I know you,
Yeah, so my
if you
name
can
is
guess.
my name is Tara. I'm a 25-year-old medical student, originally from Guelph, Ontario, but I live in Dublin, Ireland. And I have a YouTube channel, but the reason why a lot of people in certain circles might know who I am is because I was a semi-finalist on the television show Ireland's Got Talent.
Ireland's Got Talent, semifinalist. Did you get a prize for that of some sort, or
No,
no? Okay, well, that's too bad. But congratulations.
thank
That's
you.
that's quite impressive. How many people were involved in that show? Like, how many contestants were there? Do you know?
Like from beginning to end, I have no
A,
idea.
a
The way
lot.
that there was kind of the main mass audition, and then they narrowed it down to semifinalists from that. And there were three semifinals of eight. 3 by 8 is 24. So there were 24 participants in semifinals and then 8 in the finals.
Wow. Wow. And did you find being from Canada that there was any issues with that? Because that's the one thing that I thought. Like, I see people from, we've got Canada's Got Talent, we've got America's Got Talent over here. You know this.
Yes.
And I see people going on America's Got Talent from Canada, and I'm like, why are you on that? Why aren't you doing Canada's Got Talent? You're Canadian. But as far as that goes, did anybody ask you about that kind of thing?
No, no one really brought it up. It wasn't really an issue.
Yeah.
Canada actually, we did have a Canada's Got Talent for one season, but it isn't currently airing as far as I know.
I don't think so. I did watch the first season, and I think it was on a second season as well. I could be wrong, but I don't see it much anymore. But still, I mean, you made it to the semifinals, and that's impressive by anybody's records, right? So tell us a bit about your family. You've got your mom and dad, obviously.
Yeah, so my parents, they still live in Guelph, which
Nice.
is in southwestern Ontario. And then I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister. Her name is Tori, and she is engaged.
Oh, congratulations.
She's an accountant and lives outside of London, in a small town out that way.
London,
And then
Ontario,
I
you mean?
have, pardon?
London, Ontario?
London, Ontario, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
And then I have a brother. His
Yeah.
name is David. He also lives in Guelph. And
Nice.
then a younger sister, her name's Alex, and she also lives in Guelph.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Now, one of the things that I've learned about you from looking at your YouTube channel, which is very impressive, and I'm going to add a link to it because I think your talents. It's not just the singing. I mean, you've got a beautiful voice. I have to tell you that and be honest. But the other things that you're doing with your life is like, we're not worthy. It's no, I mean, it is impressive, and you deserve accolades for it. Anybody that's going to be, you're actually going to become a pediatric doctor, right?
Yes,
A
I hope to
pediatrician.
be a pediatrician.
Yeah, that's impressive because you're. I hate to say this and make myself sound ancient, but you're very young, and you should be very proud of yourself for what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure, and I wish that you were back in Canada because we can always use great doctors over here too, right? But that's
Mhm.
another thing. So, but you also did something, music therapy.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
So my original degree, so I have a 4-year bachelor's degree before attending medical school, and that degree was in music therapy, which is kind of it's described in some senses as a subset of recreation therapy, but to get down to the meat and bones of what it is, it's a method of therapy that helps people with non-music related goals and objectives by using music. So I spent time working in a pediatric hospital. A lot of the work that I was doing there was on pain relief and kind of making sense of what was going on depending on the stages of development that someone may be in. There could be very different things going on. And then I transitioned into a outpatient clinic, and I worked there for just over a year and a half. And there we worked with people with Parkinson's, so we were doing more rehab therapy. We worked with people with autism, so we were doing more kind of behavioral therapy with them. And it really changes depending on the people that you're working with. And I wouldn't say that it's a standalone therapy on its own, but it's something in addition that for some patients can be extremely beneficial.
Well, I got to tell you, my dad suffered from Parkinson's before he passed away. It's a horrible disease,
Mm-hmm.
and it also developed into Parkinsonian dementia.
Yeah.
He could have done with somebody like you because he loved music, but he just couldn't do it anymore. You know, he didn't play any instruments, but he loved listening to it. I said in one of my other episodes that his favorite piece of music was Claire de Lune.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know you play. It's a gorgeous tune, isn't it? Yeah. I listen to it literally, and it makes me want to cry every time. Not because it's so bad, but because it just reminds me of my dad. But you play guitar, so you probably couldn't play that on guitar. But
no, so I play guitar, and I also play piano on my
YouTube
channel.
Wonderful.
But I don't play classical piano by any stretch of the imagination. I would say that I play piano rather than I'm a piano player.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I have to apologize because I did see that in your audition video for America or Ireland's Got Talent. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I completely forget the song that you sang, but you were playing piano in that. And I love what you did at the beginning of it where you went, just seeing if it works. That was amazing.
Well, so the kind of story behind that is that the producers backstage, I was like, hey, because someone else came off stage and was like, hey, make sure you can hear the piano. And no one could hear the piano at all. And that freaked me out. So I went to the producers and was like, hey, is there any monitors at all? Is there any way I can make sure that I'm hearing? And they're like, no, just test it out, make sure you can hear it. So I did, and then I didn't know what to do, so I just was myself, and that's what happened.
It looked, honestly, when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, that's so cute that you're that comfortable talking to them like that, because you know there was an issue, you addressed it, and you talked about it. I just thought it was so natural looking. So yeah, you won me on that one.
They're people like everybody else, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just talk to them how you would talk to anybody, right? Yeah. But that's good that you had the confidence to do that. I mean, it must have been very nerve-wracking.
I was nervous. I was very nervous. I will say I don't remember any of it.
Is that right?
I watch the video back sometimes, but I don't remember any of it.
Wow.
I don't remember saying what I said. I don't remember doing what I did. I remember walking out on the stage. I remember walking off of the stage, and not really much of what happened in between. You
were so focused, I guess, on getting it. But you nailed it. It was awesome. I mean, obviously, making it to the semifinals, that's...
Thank you.
You're welcome. A round of applause, right? Okay. So you also mentioned the fact that you're an avid knitter.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, you were doing an Afghan.
I was. That one's at home. I finished my other one, but it's in the other room.
So you're still knitting?
I am, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm currently working on a cardigan.
For yourself?
For myself.
That's nice. What color is it?
It's blue. I've actually got it sitting right here, just because I work on it before bed, but so I've got, this is the top, and then it's working down, there's the armholes into the back.
That's very nice. I like the color.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very nice. And you've got all your hats and mittens. Have you seen the thing that's going around with Bernie Sanders with the mittens on?
I have seen the meme of Bernie Sanders in the chair looking really grumpy and cold.
He does. Yeah, it's so cute though. He's just like a little old man sitting there like, meh, I don't want to be here. That's fun. You should make some Bernie Sanders knit mittens. They're selling like crazy, apparently.
Yeah, I'll have to find the right color.
Yeah. So also, I keep referring to this video. It was a good one. It was very informative. And you talked in it about being bullied. How do you feel you overcame that to get where you are today? I mean, let's face it. A pediatrician is a pretty hefty title, right? And you must have a lot of confidence in yourself doing that, and rightfully so if you're doing it. I mean, you deserve to. Being able to perform like you do. I mean, I just watched your new release, and we'll put a link up for that as well. And you're singing on the street on that, at least in the video, right?
Yes.
So that was a straight up live recording, right to air, like to press kind of thing.
No. So I recently released a song to Spotify in January, and the photos from that song are from me busking. So I used to busk on Grafton Street in Dublin. It's a very popular pedestrian street, and busking is something that's kind of integral to the energy around Grafton Street. And I did it to kind of make some pub money. And then that kind of turned into how I would fund my YouTube channel and things that I was interested in. So
Really?
Yeah. So I used all of my busking money initially went straight into making my YouTube channel. I was able to pay to go home for Christmas.
You did well.
I did well. Wow. I worked a lot.
Yeah.
I worked a lot. So I hope I would think I would do well.
Wow.
But basically a photographer asked if she could take some photos of me in like a 30-minute session when I was busking, and I agreed. And those are the photos that came out, and they were fantastic.
They're very pretty photos. Yeah, she did a great job. I'm a photographer myself in my spare time. I use that word loosely. And I'll tell you, it is an art to catch the images that she caught. I mean, no disrespect intended, but it helps when your subject matter isn't hard on the eyes either. Just saying. But you know, it's she did a great job of capturing what was going on. So, and the song itself is beautiful. I listened to it, and I showed it to my wife and my daughter, and they were all like, "Oh wow, that's who you're talking to." So yeah, you got a bit of stardom going on in this apartment anyway right now. Yeah. So as somebody that was bullied in school to be where you are now, how did you get there? I mean, that's a big thing to overcome. And I think there's a lot of bullying going on. I don't know about in Ireland, but in Canada, I would imagine it's the same over there. But in Canada, there's an issue with it. There's a big issue with it. And they are doing everything they can to eliminate it. At least the schools are saying, oh yeah, we don't want bullying, but they do very little about it once you address the school with it. We had, my daughter was threatened with her life at one point, and they did nothing to the person that did it. So, you know, I'm
really sorry to hear that.
Well, she overcame it. The kid ended up moving anyway, so I'm glad about that. But the parents were in complete denial. Our daughter would never do such a thing. But this kid had a massive, big stick, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to kill Kristen." And nobody did anything about this. The teachers or the principal's response was to bring her and the girl into his office, tell them, talk it out, and left the room. That's not really addressing the situation.
That's not appropriate.
No, it's not. Because if this kid was seriously dangerous, you've just put my daughter in a square room with somebody that threatened her life. Like, where's the sense in that? But you've done great with it. And I mean, I think a lot of people could learn from other people's experience, how they managed to get through and be successful too. And like I say, let's face it, you are being successful.
Thank you.
And I think, well, no problem. But I think to a lot of kids, you could be a role model about this, you know?
And I think it's something that I wish had never happened, and I don't want to ever happen to anyone else. But I also don't like to dwell on it because it's something that has been a part of my life, but it's not a defining point for me. And there were a few things that changed at that time. Kind of the first thing that I did was I started kind of changing who I was to try and fit the bill, because I was this geeky girl with glasses. I have some really old photos of what I looked like, and it's not pretty.
Nah, stop it.
And when I was in school, it wasn't necessarily good to be smart. It wasn't necessarily good to kind of want to excel. So that was tough because those were both things that I wanted to be. So the first thing I did was there was this ecological leadership program that was run through 3 schools in Guelph. And the first thing I did was do that, but it was 10 students only. And it kind of brought me out of the big school environment into a smaller environment.
That's cool.
And I was able to grow and learn from my experiences there. And then I transferred schools completely. I left,
Well, that'll help.
Went to a different school, removed the problem, kind of took control of my own destiny. Not to say that I think it's ever okay to run away from your problems, but sometimes I think that a fresh start is okay.
Yeah.
And is appropriate and is warranted. So I transferred, went to a different school, started to kind of build up who I was again. And at this particular school, it was perfectly acceptable to be engaging and be smart and be involved. And that was kind of a turning point for me into getting involved in a whole bunch of things. And then when I went to college, it was one big new fresh start. And I was able to make friends. And because you're in college and you're surrounded by people who have similar interests to you, it makes it so much easier to get along with people and to realize, yeah, it's actually completely okay. People can celebrate you for who I am. So that's kind of what I went through, kind of how I got out of it. And the one piece of advice I'd give anybody is you can control your own destiny. You can control your own fate in certain circumstances. And nothing defines you except for what you choose defines you. And I think I'm really privileged to be able to say that, because I've come out on the other side. And if someone had said to me in the midst of it, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
These other people are doing all these bad things. But that would be the piece of advice I would give, because it's the one thing that now as an adult has really championed me into who I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I tell my daughter, you say I'm not debating or arguing with you here. I'm just giving you an example of what I say to her. You say that you shouldn't run away. And I agree with you, but I think what you did is the best thing you could have done, because obviously if you're in an issue where, like, for example, the one with this kid with my daughter, if the powers that be are not going to accept or do anything to defend you, which is, in my belief, their duty, then you have to find a place that will. So, you know, thankfully, like I say, this kid left the school, her parents and everything moved away, and that eliminated it, because there was other kids as well, but they were all part of this clique. And once the leader, I guess, we didn't know she was the leader, but once the leader left, they wanted to be friends with my daughter. So, you know, and I think a lot of the time it boils down to one person leading the pack, right? It's a pack mentality, you know. They see that they seem, so let me try that again in English. They see that somebody may have a weakness and they just pounce on them, you know?
Yeah.
But good for you for being smart and wanting to do what you will have to do to get ahead in life. Like, don't ever anybody stop doing that. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, and those are statements that I completely agree with. I think there are certain situations where you can be confident, you can assert yourself, but a fresh start is, I personally don't think there's anything better than a fresh start.
Yep. Yeah. Say goodbye to bad rubbish or something like that, they say, right? So, okay. So you mentioned in what you were just saying about the environmental program, that's the Terra program, right?
That is the Terra program.
See, I've done my research, and that's nothing to do with you, your name.
No, nothing to do with me. Spelled entirely different. They got its name from the Latin for Earth, terra
firma. Yeah. Is it still going?
As far as I know, I don't know if with COVID things have changed. They probably have.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I graduated from high school, it was still running, and I knew it was running in the years since. So I don't know if I don't know if the teacher who was doing it though, I don't know if he is still doing it. It might have changed hands.
Well, I mean, it's getting some airtime now, so maybe they can bring it back, right? I think things like that, it's important for kids to know what's going on with the world. I'm not as they call, a tree hugger by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that it's important that children grow up to know about the land and what it can do.
Yeah.
And what it provides for us, and then by knowing that, you learn respect for it, because you need oxygen.
Yes.
That's about it, right?
Yes.
So did you had braces too, didn't you?
I did have braces.
Your orthodontist deserves a medal. Well, beautiful smile. That's good job to them. You want to give them a shout out? No, I'm just kidding.
So, they're actually retired now. So
are they really?
It was the same orthodontist that did my mom's teeth.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So they've been there for, I'm not saying your mom's old, but they've been there for a while. Oh, you look like you've frozen on me a little bit there. There you are. You're back.
Oh, that's
yeah. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about with your video is that you did a trick, the broom trick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't do it. I tried.
That's okay. Not everyone can.
Well, I had recently shoulder surgery on this shoulder, which was an epic failure. It's even more painful now than it was. So I have to have it now replaced. I have to have this one replaced. Okay. I have to have both knees replaced.
Yeah.
Getting old sucks. I can tell you that. So there's no way I'm doing a broomstick trick. They need an ambulance to get me out of the pretzel that I've become. But good job on your flexibility. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
You ever hurt yourself doing it?
No. Okay, I haven't personally. People who I've tried to teach it to have, so I apologize to them.
But you accept no responsibility.
No, I accept no responsibility or liability for.
Right on. Cheers to that.
Yeah. No, but my it's something that my whole mom's side of the family always did. So they taught us how to do it when we were maybe 5 or 6 years old, and we've been doing it ever since. And you would have races and see who could do it faster. And it's now really fun to try and pull it out at family gatherings when someone is a little bit inebriated.
Got a bit of this action going on?
That's the fun time to pull it out, because some people can still do it, some people can't.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch people fall over in the grass sometimes.
Yeah. So for those of you watching this that are wondering what we're talking about here, there's a video on Tara's. Now, this is the Tara Sings channel that this is on, right?
Yeah. So I've got a YouTube channel that's you can either just search YouTube for Tara Jamieson, or Tara Jamieson Music, I believe, is the official handle on YouTube.
Okay.
And it's the video you're referencing is the 5 things you might not know about me video. But
make sure you watch it to the end, because this is the bonus item. So
it is a bonus. It is the bonus 6th thing you didn't know about me.
That's right. And mind you, after watching this, you'll probably know those 5 things about Tara. So there you go. But do watch it, because it's a good watch. She's a lot of fun with that. So the one thing I definitely wanted to talk to you about is, obviously, Ireland's Got Talent, but you went to Ireland to get your education. Is that correct?
I did, yes.
So did you do your music therapy degree over there?
No, so I did my degree in music therapy at Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts.
What?
Yeah.
This girl's a world traveler, folks. Look at her.
Yeah. And so that's where I did my degree. And then I lived in LA for about a year, worked over there, lived in Austin, Texas for just over a year and a half and worked there, and then applied to medical school in Ireland because I didn't really have a conventional degree. Getting into medical school in Canada is notoriously difficult. I didn't consider the US at the time because of some kind of personal things that were going on. So I just kind of shoved all of my attention to Canada, and then where else can I go that will let me be a doctor in Canada? And Ireland came up on my Google search for that, and the rest is history.
Wow. Well, I mean, it worked. Was it hard to get in, or it was?
I mean, I took the MCAT, so that was about 6 months of intense studying while I'm also working full time and managing a whole bunch of personal situations. And then there's the whole application process, which in and of itself takes a few months. Then you have the interview. It's not an easy process and it's very daunting.
Yeah.
But I think if you're meticulous with it and if you kind of have the confidence in yourself going into the interview, you're going to be fine.
Right on. It's just kind of like going into an audition for Ireland's Got Talent.
Kind
right?
of like going into an audition for Ireland's Got Talent.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interview, it's an audition in any way you look at it, right? So how far in are you now? When do you get your doctorate?
So I will be Dr. Tara Jamieson in June of 2022.
Oh, not that far away, really. I mean, it's
so I'm in my 3rd year of a 4-year degree.
Yeah, good for you. At
Thank
25,
you.
wow. What did you like get out of high school when you were 3? You're freezing up on me again here. Hold on.
17 minutes.
Hold on. You're frozen up.
Oh, are you back?
Oh, apparently it's my internet connection that's freezing up.
Back? Yeah,
Can you hear me? No. Hold on.
Yes.
You can't hear me? Okay, good. All right, but you're frozen. I don't know why. Oh, there you are. Hey, you're back.
Yay.
Yeah, right. Missed you. It was great to see you though. But so you graduated when you were what? 17, you said?
I graduated from high school when I was 17, and then my bachelor's degree was technically supposed to be done in 4 years, but I worked through the summer, so I did it in 3. And then I worked for a couple of years, and then I started medical school when I was 22.
You're like a female Doogie Howser, almost.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that title either. So you're graduating next year. That's fantastic. Congratulations. And
thank you.
I'm sure you'll get there based on what I've seen. You do a lot of talking about being a med student on your channel as well. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And I got to tell you, my wife is a nurse. Now, you know Hamilton. You know of Hamilton. You know that McMaster's Children's Hospital is here.
I do.
Okay. So my wife was a nurse in the OR there, the operating room.
Yep.
And she used to come home and she'd be so deflated, you know, and saying, oh, I don't know if I made the right choices. So, and she was so, it got to her because, I mean, she's dealing with little children on this operating table, you know, and I don't think I could have had the heart to do it, or the brain set or mind set, whatever you want to call it. But at the time I was selling chemicals as a career, and it wasn't anything that I'm proud of. But I used to say to her, you know, you save children's lives every day. This is something you've got to be proud of. Like, you know, you deserve a medal for this, as do you, because even at this stage in your career, I was watching one video, you were talking about, you were working in the ER, and some of the stuff that you had said you were doing in there. Do you remember that video?
I'm not sure if I remember the video you're referring to.
You were drawing blood. You were.
It was my general practice rotation.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, wow. Anybody that does, I'm actually a student right now for an MLT, the med lab technician. It's not going to be for me, unfortunately, because there's a lot of people over here that won't let men perform the kind of duties that you would have. But anybody in the medical field, especially now, deserves another round of applause, because you guys are amazing. You're keeping the world going. And, you know, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. And honestly, what I'm doing as a student, I'm not really contributing to kind of COVID relief here in Ireland at all, but there are other students that are, and there are so many healthcare professionals and allied professionals within the hospital system that deserve a lot of thanks, whether it be the head consultant doctor down to everyone who works in housekeeping and estates and management. Everyone in the hospital system is so stretched right now. and they all deserve a huge thanks.
So I'm going to interrupt because your humility, is that a word? Humility? Humility, we'll go with that. Yeah, thank you. You're in Ireland and you speak better English than I do. Come on. You should have a drawl with it when you talk. But anyway, your humility is incredible. Tara, don't ever think for a second that you don't do anything towards this COVID, because you're freeing up the time for the doctors to deal with the COVID by doing what you do. So you deserve credit as well. I'm big on giving credit where it's deserved, and I can find a way most people deserve credit, to be honest with you. But no, you are doing something and you are helping a lot. So credit to you. Thank you to you. I'm not in Ireland, obviously, but yeah, thank you. It's very cool to see. So thank you for that. So at what point did you decide that you wanted to audition for Ireland's Got Talent?
So my friend Brian found me so at our CSI, there's kind of a new building that was just finished in like 2018, brand new, really modern looking, lots of glass, big spiral staircase going up the center of it. And there's this old building that was built in the 1790s.
Oh, wow.
So the school was originally commissioned in 1784. So the school itself is very old.
Yeah.
And the college has this kind of old section of the college that's still very, very old and kind of preserved in this kind of 1800s, 1900s style. And there's a baby grand piano in one of the rooms. And during first year, I can't do it anymore because that part of the building is closed with COVID. Mm-hmm. But I would sneak in to that part of the room and sneak in and play the piano and do some singing. And my friend Brian found me there one day. And he was like, hey, I saw this ad on Facebook for Ireland's Got Talent. You should try out. And I was pretty skeptical. And he's like, well, if you don't submit something, I will submit something for you.
Nice. Nice.
So I wanted to have a little bit of control over that whole process. So he did dare me to do it, but I was the one who kind of took over the process from there because I didn't want him to go conflating anything that I was doing. So,
well, he did a good thing by pressuring you. Let's put it that way. You know, music is therapeutic. I truly believe that. It's calming. It can lift your spirits. It can bring them down, whatever. So I think that, you know, even just by auditioning, I mean, again, your humility, you performing on the piano in the hospital, I'm sure people got a lot out of that. They have at Juravinsky Hospital here in Hamilton, mm-hmm. the cancer center. Yes. There's a piano that's open for anybody to play in there too. And they have people that come in just to sit down for a while and play the piano. And the people that gather just to quietly sit and listen. It's amazing. It's, you know, I believe that as a species, we are drawn to music. It brings out every emotion you can imagine. And I think the sound waves that are produced by music are really healing. So this turned into a clap fest for you.
No, honestly, no need. So don't.
No. Yeah. So how the audition process, was it hard?
So it started off with so they had you submit a video, and yes. Then I submitted a video and didn't hear anything for a few months. And so I didn't think anything was going to come of it. I was very okay with that. And then I just got this random phone call one day saying, hi, I'm a producer from Ireland's Got Talent. Could you submit a couple more videos for us? And could you submit a couple of songs that you'd be okay with doing? So then I did that. And then I got another phone call, and then I kind of did a phone interview. And then they're like, okay, you're going to come to this place on this day, and you're going to audition in front of the judges. And I was very surprised. And I originally got sat in the audience by accident.
Oh, no.
Because I showed up and I went to the front desk and I was like, hi, I'm here to audition. And I think they mistook me and heard me say that I'm here for the audition or something.
Yeah.
So they put me in the audience, And then I kind of realized what was happening, and I flagged down one of the people, and I talked to like there was this lovely Irish couple sitting beside me. They're like, "Oh yeah, our daughter is in one of the dance, our daughter is in one of the dance troops, and like grandma and granddad were there as well." There was like this whole row just of this one family. And so I was talking to them, and I was like, "I don't think I'm supposed to be here." And they're like, "Well, where do you think you're supposed to be?" I'm like, "Well, I got an email saying I'm auditioning." And they're like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to be here." flagged down one of the people in like the staff t-shirts, explained what was going on. And they're like, "Oh, you're really not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be like in this other place." There's this back room that was wicked hot. It was terrible.
Yeah.
You were just profusely sweating the whole time. And then I had an exam in about a week. So I was just like in the back room going through all of my notes on my iPad the whole time. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow. That must have been a bit nuts.
It was.
Well, I'm glad you got to the right place. That's
did.
good. Again, one of your videos, you talk about the USME, that's the United States Medical Exam.
Yeah, so the USMLEs are the United States Medical Licensing Exams.
Oh, I left a letter out of there. I'm sorry. Oops. But are you planning on going to the US, or are you planning on coming to Canada?
Unfortunately for the Canadians, I am planning on practicing in the United States.
Is that right? That's too bad. I think we lose a lot of good people to the United States, like as far as, healthcare goes, nurses, doctors. It's their gain, I guess, but it's Canada's fault. And I believe that the reason we do is because the government puts too many restrictions. Not restrictions. My wife is Hungarian. When she became a nurse, it was a nightmare for her to get qualified to practice nursing over here. She'd been here for a number of years before I got involved in her life. And I don't want to say I pushed her, but I helped to get her in the right direction to get it done. She wanted to do it, so I wasn't forcing her, I don't think, and I don't think she feels that way. But, it's tough for people who are foreign trained to get to the standards or the expectations of the Canadian government. Would you agree with that?
I would say that there's a couple more hoops so what I would be classed as is an international medical graduate or an IMG, or sometimes for the Canadian government, they class us as CSAs or Canadians studying abroad.
Oh, okay.
As far as medical training is concerned. And they make us jump through a few more hoops. It's a bigger issue if you're going into a more competitive specialty, something like surgery, radiology, dermatology, obstetrics. That can be a lot more of a hurdle.
Yeah.
My reasons for going to the United States have very little to do with that. It's still hard to get into a residency in the United States. As an IMG, it's harder as a non-US IMG because I'm not an American citizen.
Well, they don't like that.
But my reasons for going to the US are there's a few more options as far as work are concerned for me. Just in the sense that there are a few more residency openings in the US because they have more university residency programs. Gotcha. And then the other aspect is that my boyfriend is American and cannot do a Canadian residency program. So
is he studying to be a doctor as well?
Yeah, so he also goes to the school in Ireland.
Very cool. He's trying to be a pediatrician as well, or?
No, he's into neurology. So he wants to be a neurologist or neurosurgeon. He hasn't quite decided. I think he's leaning more towards surgery. So
that's fascinating work. My wife has MS, so she sees a neurologist quite frequently.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating field. It really is. So again,
so that's what he's into. But per the Canadian regulations, in order to apply as an international medical graduate to Canadian residency, you have to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. And he is neither of those.
No. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll succeed at it because, you've got a great, I guess, bedside manner, it seems. I've never met you in person, but just from interviewing you now and watching your videos, you've got the right personality, especially to be working with kids. That's amazing. So, thank you for doing what you do. So, actually, there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. When you were in high school, I believe you got into competitive speaking.
Oh, so
How was that?
when I was in school, starting in about grade 4, everyone had to write speeches and present them in front of the class.
Yeah.
And then if you wrote a good speech and you presented it well, you could then go on to do it at your school gymnasium, and then you'd go on to do it at the district, and then you'd go on to do it somewhere else. And I got really into it. I got super into it. When I was in grade 6, I ended up coming in 3rd place in Ontario at the Lions Club competition.
Nice.
And then when I was in grade 12, I ended up coming in 2nd place in Ontario for the Royal Canadian Legion public speaking competition.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
So I was really into public speaking. I liked talking to people. I liked sharing stories.
Yeah.
So
it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. And then when I got into college, I started doing poetry slam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any that you could rip one off right now?
No.
Okay.
No, it's been years. It's been years since I've done anything, because I think the last time I engaged in poetry slam was 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah. So it's been a little while.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, please, but poetry slam, have you seen, I Married an Axe Murderer?
No, I haven't seen I Married an Axe Murderer.
It's a comedy. It's got what's his name? Mike Myers in it.
Okay.
And in there, he goes into this coffee bar, and there's a girl working there, and her name is Harriet, or he's dating her, and that's the axe murderer, he thinks. I think I Married an Axe Murderer. That's the name. And he gets up on stage and he does this Harriet, and he goes on like that, and he does a big poem. So is that kind of what you're talking about?
So did you watch the inauguration?
No, I didn't, I'm afraid.
So the American Youth Poet Laureate, she did an amazing poem at the inauguration, and that's kind of more of the spoken word poetry that I'm into. Slam specifically is competitive spoken word poetry. There's lots of rules around it. But her piece at the inauguration was beautiful.
Very good.
And there's a YouTube channel called Button Poetry. I would say they're an okay representation. They tend to, sometimes I don't entirely agree with things that they pick or don't pick. Sometimes they pick things for shock value, which, granted, shock value gets you views. Views lets you present things that might have more emotional quality that isn't necessarily shocking. So, but if you're interested in learning more, Button Poetry would be a good YouTube channel.
Okay. I'm going to write that down, actually, as soon as I find my pen. I'll get it from you later. Yeah, it's admirable, again, being able to stand up. I used to do presentations for groups of 500 people, so I know it can be kind of, you got to get up there and you just got to do it, right, sort of thing. So
yeah,
good for you. Now, I do this thing on my show where I ask people 17 questions.
Okay.
So they're just bizarre little questions that gives us a bit of an insight into you, basically. Okay. All right. Silliness. It's nothing serious, so don't panic. You're not going to be given what's your PIN number on your debit card? It's not that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So first question, and I know the answer to this, but tea or coffee?
Tea.
And how do you have it?
So I usually go for black tea, and I'll do that with, depending on the time of year and who's watching, either 1 teaspoon of sugar or 4 teaspoons of sugar and milk. But
don't stir it because you don't like it sweet.
No, I do stir it.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
That's good. Do you have, okay, there's a coffee manufacturer over here who used to be a hockey player.
I do know of the Great Canadian Donut and Coffee Emporium.
It's a Constitution, right?
Yes.
Or an institution, one or the other. Do they have them in Ireland? Are they over in Ireland?
There's one in Belfast, actually.
Is that right? Is
I
that
don't
far
know
from you?
how. It's the one that's like one off. There's one in Belfast. And I have been to it. It is not the same.
No?
No.
Oh.
They Irishize their menu.
Oh, okay. Well, you still get a double, I suppose.
I guess you could.
Whether they know what that means or not is a different thing.
I don't drink coffee, so
No, yeah.
I didn't ask, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's fair. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
You're a dog person, are you?
Yes.
Do you have one currently?
No.
No? Do you have one
always
back
wanted
here
a
in Canada?
dog growing up.
Sorry, I was just saying, do you have one here in Canada?
No.
No? Okay. Well, if you could get a dog, what kind of dog would you get?
Golden Retriever.
They're so much fun, aren't they?
Or, I mean, I'm all for adopt, don't shop. So, I mean, just having a dog that has a loving home, again, is all fine by me. But if I did get the opportunity to choose, Golden Retriever.
That's awesome. They're a lot of fun, those dogs. They're just nuts. They're born insane and they stay that way for life. If you don't mind sharing this with us, what's the most embarrassing moment that you'd be comfortable sharing with that you've had?
In my entire life or
Sure.
recently?
Whatever, you tell me.
Because I could do recently.
Yeah.
I just got back from a town in Ireland called Drogheda because
Okay.
I was at a hospital there.
You
And
were
I accidentally
working
brought two pairs of scrub pants and no scrub top. So I'm running around the hospital trying to find a scrub top, and eventually I get a paper one from the OR, which I'm not supposed to be in because I'm on my pediatrics rotation. I'm not supposed to be anywhere near the OR. So then I get into trouble for being near the OR. And then someone spills tea all over this paper scrub top, and I have to go back and find another one.
Oh no.
So that's the most embarrassing thing that recently occurred.
That's pretty bad. I mean, you don't want a wet shirt most of the time, but especially not paper ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. PlayStation or Xbox?
Neither.
Neither? You've never been a gaming person?
No, my boyfriend has recently gotten me into this game that I play on my iPad because he's really into this online game called League of Legends.
Okay.
And they have this kind of automatic chess game called Team Flight Tactics. I have no idea how it works or what the characters are. I just know that I press the buttons and they appear on the board and then they fight each other. So I have room in my brain for only a certain number of things. Video games is not one of them. Board games are.
What's your favorite board game?
Oh, that's between either Scythe or Settlers of Catan.
I haven't heard of either of them, but that's interesting. I'll have to look them up too. iPhone or Android? And I think you just answered this.
iPhone.
Yeah. I'm an Android. I got to say that. Android guy myself, but
which is fine by me. iPhone just tends to, music-wise, I find that it just works better with recording softwares, and that just works fine for me.
Oh yeah, you use probably with the music, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good one. It used to be, being a photographer, I have a lot of friends that are photographers, and a lot of them prefer iPhones for the photo editing software and stuff on there. But
I use photo editing software on my iPhone called Lightroom, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. I've used that before. I just normally use just regular Photoshop. It's easy. Any broken bones throughout your life?
No.
Never?
Never.
Knock on wood.
I'll touch wood.
Yeah, there you go. If you could go, living or dead, meet any celebrity or person, let's say that. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. Who would you like to meet?
How am I meeting this person? Like, am I meeting them for the first time, or it can be someone I know?
Your choice. Whoever you want to meet.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'd just like to sit down and have dinner with my grandparents again.
That's a very sweet and good answer. I like that.
They both passed away within the past year, so
sorry to hear that.
I'd like to sit down and have dinner with them, play a game of euchre, play some cards. That'd be nice.
Well, I'm terribly sorry about your loss.
Oh,
That's
that's
tragic.
okay. Thanks.
Okay. Um, what would you say would be your favorite holiday destination?
Oh, Nice in France, in the French Riviera.
Have you been there already?
Yeah, so my boyfriend and I, for our second anniversary, we not our second that was our first anniversary. Sorry. We got cheap Ryanair flights to Barcelona, and then we took a train for a week, and we just stopped at various places, starting in Barcelona, all along the French Riviera, ending in Nice. We spent 3 days there. It was gorgeous. The beach was amazing. The
Wow.
water was clear and warm. The food, the food was incredible.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
I always get Nice. I always pronounce it wrong just to upset people and call it nice, just because it's not nice. It's Nice. Well, whatever. But on
I mean,
your,
Nice is very nice.
pardon me?
Nice is very nice.
I see what you did there. Had a girl. Did the train trip from Barcelona? Have you seen the movie Euro Trip?
No.
Okay. There's a scene
Granted, I will say, I'll stop you before you start asking more movies. You could name probably 50 movies before I've seen one, unless they're Disney movies. So
You're a Disney fan. Well, there's a
I
scene.
I haven't seen many movies, to be
Yeah.
honest, if I'm being honest.
Well, there's a question about that. So
Oh.
we'll get to that in a second. But in this movie, they're on a train and they're going through tunnels, and there's a Spanish guy. These are young teenagers doing a European trip. And there's a Spanish guy in there. I forget the actor's name, but he was on Saturday Night Live at one point. He's one of those guys. And they go through a tunnel, and there's no lights when they go through this tunnel. And I'm sure you can testify there are pretty long tunnels over there, right, going through the mountains and that.
There can be. I think we only went through one set of tunnels on our trip.
Yeah, but they're dark if the lights go out. So I mean, it comes back to the light, and he's got his pants off, this guy, for no reason, and he's got his leg draped over the young guys next to him, and he's going, "Oh, mi scusi, mi scusi." So yeah, it's a funny scene, but there's a lead into it. So there you go.
Yeah.
So after your favorite holiday destination and what you've just said, my next question is normally your favorite movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, favorite movie. Favorite movie of the moment would have to be Onward, which is a
Onward.
Disney movie.
Is that the one with the jazz guy?
No, that's Soul. Soul was really good as well.
Yeah.
Soul was very good, but Onward is about these two brothers living in basically it kind of shows how a fantasy world turned modern, and then they're kind of trying to incorporate some of the whimsy back into their lives. It's a great coming of age story. I cannot watch it without bawling my eyes out through the last 10 minutes of the movie. So
that's funny. That's cute. Is this the one with the dad and he slowly comes back?
Where they get their dad back. They get their dad back for one day, but only half of him comes back, and they have to find a new stone there's lots that goes on. I don't want to give it away. I would highly recommend watching it, especially if you're looking for humor, but also for a feel-good coming-of-age story. Definitely would recommend it.
I'm not going to lie. I watched it as well, and I could never watch it again because it reminded me of my dad too much and my loss with him. So I also sat there going, bawling my eyes out as well. It's a very good film. Do you have pineapple on your pizza?
No.
No, not at all?
No.
Never? Okay.
That's an emphatic no.
That was pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. Here's a question that you may or may not like to answer, but real or fake? Real or fake? Christmas trees.
Oh, Christmas trees. I had no idea what you were referring to. I love the smell of real Christmas trees, but we always had a fake one growing up because my parents are accountants, and they had just done the long-term cost evaluation of, if we buy a Christmas tree once, it'll last us for 20 years, versus if we have to buy a Christmas tree every year, it's a recurring cost.
Yeah, okay. Just get decorations that are made of those little air fresheners in the shape of a tree, right? Put them on the tree.
I do like those, yeah.
Yeah, okay. If you could have one do-over in life, one shot at doing something that you've done and you want to do it again, it doesn't have to be because you you failed at it or anything like that, it'd just be something that you want to do over, what would it be?
That's a hard one. I think I would like to do over. You see, I would say, oh my gosh, this is a really hard one. You've really stuck me here. Because there's so many great moments in my life that I'd love to do again. Or so many things that I'd like to try and go back and fix, but I don't think I'd ever try and fix anything, because if it didn't happen, then I'm not who I am. But I think the one thing I would say is my first kiss with my boyfriend, my partner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that again.
Because you liked it or because you screwed it up?
No, because I liked it. Granted, the drink I spilled on him 5 minutes later. Also would love to redo that.
I would have thought you might have said, I'd like to have taken my scrubs, my complete set of scrubs.
Oh yeah, I'd like to take my complete set of scrubs that day. Yeah. No, that's this for some reason that's the third time that's happened to me this year.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I now store my scrubs differently so that I can make sure that I have one of each.
Well, you know what? Just a suggestion. I saw one of your videos, the one that we were talking about earlier, the where you were doing your ER day, and you were walking. I could not believe how much old chewing gum there was on the streets.
Yeah, there's a lot of old chewing gum.
Good Lord.
In Swords.
Yeah, it was crazy. But maybe you could, hide a couple along the way in the bushes.
Oh.
If nothing else.
I only have 3 sets of scrubs, then I have to wash them all the time. So I don't think that would. I wish it was that easy, that I could just have them everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's just a thought, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite binge show? Do you have Netflix kind of thing?
I do. Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. I don't know that. What's that about?
It's a brand new Netflix show. It's like Gossip Girl meets the 1810s.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to turn this light on for a second. There we go.
Hey there, look at that.
Right, it's getting, it's now nighttime here.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, and the sun starts going down between 4 and 5.
Really? That's so strange. We're still light here at 6 o'clock. Yeah,
no, it because we're so much higher up in our longitude.
Yeah.
I think that's longitude, latitude.
Yeah.
Because we're so much further up, the sun during the summer, it could be fully bright outside at 9 o'clock at night. It won't start getting dark until like 10:30.
Yeah.
But during the winter, the sun doesn't come up until sometime between 8 and 9, and the sun doesn't go down until sometime between 4 and 5. So
wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Wow, we have friends that live in Ireland, in Dublin, and they've never told me that. But why? I guess they wouldn't necessarily. It's not something you would necessarily ask about. Bridgerton, though. Bridgerton. I can't say it. I had a stroke when I was younger, so I kind of stumble on my R's occasionally. But Bridgerton.
Yeah,
that's close enough, right?
Yeah, it's a new Netflix show. I watched the whole thing in about 2 days. I thought it was people say it's supposed to take like a week. I watched it over the holidays, and it took me 2 days. So
interesting. All right. Well,
favorite binge show thus far.
Good to know. I'll check that out. My wife will probably check it out before I do. But now I know about piano and guitar because we've talked about that. Do you play any other instruments?
A bit of ukulele and a bit of percussion, like different hand percussion, a little bit of drums, but not really. Not really. I haven't played any kind of drums since college.
I'm a percussionist. And look at that, baby.
Beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, she's a beautiful 12-string. Wow.
Yep. It's a Canadian company.
Oh, it's a seagull.
Yeah. I love it. Look how thin it is.
Yeah.
It's not light.
No, because that's a solid. Is it it looks like it's solid at the back and then acoustic up top.
It's an electric acoustic.
Okay.
So
Oh, I see. That's where your control panel is. I couldn't tell if those were sound or controls.
Yeah. But I swear I love this thing. It's such a rich sound, full sound. So, yeah. So when you're over here next, give me a call and I'll let you play it.
Yeah, I have a because Seagull is a subsidiary of Godin.
Yes.
I have an Art Lutherie. That's what I play.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen a guitar. The reason I got that is because of my shoulder. I can't reach out far enough to get around a big, thick guitar.
Yeah, you can't get around a dreadnought. That's fine.
Yeah. Favorite band?
Specifically band or artist in general?
You call it.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed, oh, you like Ed?
I do.
Nice. Did you
there's a lot of people I could throw into that mix, the Staves, Taylor Swift, but I think that Ed Sheeran has a good mix of songwriting, musicality, and performance charisma, which I do think is important as an artist.
Yeah. I like the fact that he tells stories with his songs too. That's a dying art. You know? Yes. I listen to people like Billy Joel.
Love Billy Joel.
He's an amazing artist. And the emotion that he gets into his songs because he's telling a story and it's something that he lived through. So yeah, good for you, Ed Sheeran. He's a good guy. Now I would hate myself if I didn't ask this. You're in Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen any of the band members of U2?
No, I have not. No. I have not seen any of the band members of U2 running around. I have seen Glenn Hansard perform on Grafton Street.
I wish I knew who that was.
If you've ever heard of the musical Once.
I have not. No. But he's...
that's all of his music. It's based off of a movie that he did that became really popular. But if you haven't heard of Glenn Hansard, that's a real shame and something that you should definitely correct.
I'll look into that. Yeah. Glenn Hansard?
Yes.
Okay. I'll check into that. What's the, with the exception of your own while you were busking, what's the best concert you've ever attended?
The Staves.
The Staves? Yeah.
Yeah. The Staves, they're a girl group from the UK. They're three sisters. And the harmonies that they build are beautiful. They do this cover of Bruce Springsteen's I'm on Fire that just takes it to a whole different place. And I saw them in concert in a graveyard in LA.
Oh, wow.
So probably the best concert I've ever attended.
Yeah. Now, are they the ones that sing Burn the White Flag?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. There's a song out there. I saw it on a show called Jules Holland Presents.
Mm-hmm.
And there was three sisters. And they sing this song called Burn the White Flag. And the harmonies in that are incredible too. So I'll have to look up the Staves. Oh, as you're looking up Burn the White Flag now.
I am.
It's a really powerful song. So
I'll have to see who did it.
You could pull it off.
Joseph is the group that did it.
Okay. You could pull it off. I mean, your voice, you'd be awesome singing that.
Thank you.
Hey, no, I try to help out where I can. There's no fee for that. If you believe in it, if not, we'll just play this. But if you could be reincarnated, what would you be reincarnated as?
That is also a hard one. Water.
Water
has memory.
Yes.
And it's kind of it kind of exists independent of time.
Yeah. It does its own thing.
And so if water has memory of where it's been, then you could theoretically have memory of everything.
That's true. That's a good answer. I always tell people mine because I just believe it's a great answer. But I would like to come back as one of my daughter's children because I'd like to see how she is as a parent. And I'd like to give her payback for being, what she's doing. No, I'm kidding. No, I'd like to see how she is as a parent. I love my daughter to bits. And, yeah, it's going to suck. If, I mean, everybody dies. It's part of living, right? But it's going to suck when I have to go because I'm going
Yes.
to miss her a lot. So I hope she misses me. I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
So that's my 17 questions. You did all right. You gave some solid answers there. Thank you for participating in that. It's very good of
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Oh no, you've been had. Trust me. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so we're going to close it up now. But before we do, I want to say you've got a couple of things that you participate in that I'd like to share. So tell me about those now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel that I would highly recommend people check out. I have new songs with Tunes with Tara every Sunday, and then I also make videos in a series called IMG Tales that are all about med school. I have a new single out on Spotify called Birches, so I would highly recommend that you go and listen to it and give it a share if you can. I'm also on Instagram at Tara Jamieson Music, so please head over, go and check me out, give me a follow, let me know that Captain Canada had sent you. And if you wanted to learn a little bit more about me and my background, you can head to my website, which is tarajamieson.ca.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Tara, I've got to tell you, you're my first celebrity that I've had on.
I wouldn't say I'm a celebrity, but
you've been on TV. It's more than I've been so far. So, but you've been amazing, and I thank you for your honesty. I know you say that you don't necessarily need it, but I think you do. So thank you for everything that you do. Your singing makes people happy. You're being a doctor, even though you're not a surgeon yet or an actual doctor yet, just helping out in the ER, etc., in the hospital. You're saving lives. So keep doing that. You should be very, very proud of yourself and accept any accolades that you get for that, because you deserve it. Your videos are amazing. I watched one song that you did, and it literally brought tears to my eyes. It was so beautiful. And that was Edelweiss. I
Oh, thank
loved
you.
it. I absolutely loved it. It's a beautiful rendition of it. So thank you for doing those videos. They do cheer people up, and it is therapy for a lot of people. So good for you. Good for everybody else for watching it. Folks, if you are watching this, which I hope you are, and you've stayed with us this long, please go and check out the stuff that I'm going to post at the end. There are more videos coming. Hopefully we'll get some more celebrities on. You never know who's going to drop in. But please watch the videos that I post, like the videos that I post, share them, and please certainly go to Tara's pages. Check her videos out. Like them if you like them. Be proud of the fact that you're watching them, and let her know that you were there. Other than that, all I can say is go do something great. Thanks a lot.